What's up, comic fans, and it's time for that new comic book day haul plus review. So we got some 50 centers, very small amount. We got a ton of books I caught up on, and then we got the pulls from this week that I managed to read, and we're gonna get into it right after this. Welcome back. All right, I'm fresh off of New York Comic Con, and I got some catching up to do. We're gonna have some stuff coming out, some haul videos, all that jazz, if you will. But we got to get back to the bare essence of why I do this anyway. And it's my weekly pulls. It's the books I get every week that make me, feel whole, if you will. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. But we're gonna start off with the 50 centers. Alright, so we got two 50 centers. I didn't want to just do a video and not throw in any 50 centers, but I got a ton of books here that are just sliding off the shelf. So we got Superman Action Comics 715, Parasite on the cover. Just a filler book, if you will. Nothing too crazy, but that's a frightening Parasite right there. All right, and then last but not least, we have Absolute Power #1. This is a Dan Mora. Actually, I don't know if this is Dan. Yes, this is Dan Mora. This is totally Dan Mora. This is the character design cover. Maybe the 1 in 10. Found this in the 50 cent bin. So these are your Absolute Power character designs. They lost their powers or whatever, and this is what they look like without their power. All right, so now let's get into the books from this week, plus other ones. So let's catch up. These are the books that I've caught up on since New York Comic Con, a couple of them before New York Comic Con or during New York Comic Con. So none of these books are from New York Comic Con. Right. All right. The World to Be, The World to Come by Quesada and Priest. I don't know if Priest was there, but Quesada was definitely at New York Comic Con. Walked by his booth a couple of times, even said what's up. Next up, this is pound for pound, and I keep saying this, to me, the best horror book on the market. And yeah, prove me wrong. Find me another one out there. We have The Incredible Hulk, Philip Kennedy Johnson. This is issue number 29. Philip Kennedy Johnson was also at New York Comic Con. All right, next up, we have The Ultimates, Dennis Camp. This is issue number 16. This one was one of those issues that focuses on the world, if you will, and one particular character instead of the Ultimates themselves. It was actually a really good issue, so we caught up on that. The Curse of Shirley Johnson. We caught up on this. Issue number 3, or we're still catching up because this might be on issue like number 5. Bloodletter. Here's issue number 1. Interesting book. The character in here knew Al Simmons before it became Spawn, knows who Spawn is trying to fight Spawn, capture Spawn, because he knows Al Simmons did some bad things when he was working secretly and assassinating people. All right, Escape #1, Rick Remender. This is a interesting book. Gory, but they use animorphs in this book, so it was definitely one of those stories that you're like, whoa. This ends tonight, Jerry Dugan. 3 issues, all from the perspective of different people with a different ending. It did feel kind of open-ended when it ended. Yeah, I don't quite know how, it doesn't feel finished to me. It felt maybe a little rushed, but excellent art by Jay Lee, and for all intents and purpose, well written by Jerry Dugan. Oh, by the way, guys, shirt from New York Comic Con, the Batman. Yeah. All right, moving on. News from the Fallout, Chris Condon, issue number 3. Interesting book. Kind of like a zombie nuclear apocalypse thing going on there. Ghost Pepper. Not quite sure how I feel about this. Issue 4 came out this week. I read issues 2 and 3. This is issue 2. You have like some super being who appears back in this world. You also have food trucks, all sorts of stuff. It reads kind of like a manga or an anime. Well, it doesn't read like an anime because anime's animated, but it definitely plays out like an anime or reads kind of like a manga, just not in backwards and in color. All right, G.I. Joe number 11. Right, you got Blood over here, out to like, you know, eye for an eye because he lost his eye. All around good buddy kind of comedy, if you will, issue, or even 10 and 11. Maybe 11 not so much, but there's a good resolution at the end of 11. Let's leave it at that. With Baroness and CoverGirl. This is Ghost Pepper number 3. Like I said, I still don't know how I feel about it. It's not bad. There's action. I don't know. It may just not be what I'm used to. But issue 4 came out this week, which I did not get. But since I read 3, I probably will. Transformers. The new volume or new era of Transformers begins with issue number 25 with Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora taking over. Saw them in a panel at New York Comic Con. Robert Kirkman couldn't stop playing with the G.I. Joe Optimus Prime toy. Not G.I. Joe. With the Transformers Optimus Prime toy on his desk, which I found quite hilarious. Yeah, both the Autobots and Decepticons are licking their wounds after a major fight. Megatron's not happy. Optimus Prime is looking like he might get a little help. So we'll see. But as you all know, nothing comes for free. What else? We got Justice League Unlimited 6. And this is issue 7. You got Gorilla Zod over here, causing issues, causing insecurities in the Justice League, sowing, you know, seeds of worry, I guess. Good book. You know, was all leading up to the whole DC KO event, so still catching up. All right, next up we have Batman number 13. This is the first full appearance of Selena Kyle, the Catwoman. As you can see, well, if you've been reading the story, you know this kind of looks a lot like Black Mask here from earlier in the series. Selena's had, you know, she's been a character in the book, so this is pretty much the first Catwoman appearance, but it's good issue. I have no problems with it. And then here's the last book. I didn't catch up on this. I just pulled this from a blind bag. So this is from the DC KO blind bag, the Lights Out Polybag Special Edition. This is cool. This is the Daniel Warren Johnson cover. So we got that. We pulled that. All right, let's get into this week's books. Here are the books I did not read. Coming to an end. One World Under Doom. Kind of the event that never really popped off, right? Like I feel like this could have been so much bigger, and it really wasn't. Still not bad, but none of those things from One World Under Doom seem to, with the exception of Fantastic Four, seem to influence the other comics coming out. So I don't know. Could have been bigger. It was not. Catwoman number 80. Still got to catch up on Catwoman, but I've been reading that. Just a really good book about how Catwoman became who she is, what she did in the past. You know, that's what they've been focusing on and working on is fleshing out Selena Kyle's past, and kind of, I guess, showing you how she became who she is today, right? Because if this is any indication, this little girl sees Catwoman in the mirror, right? And that's kind of the trajectory, right? Growing up from what you are or what you see yourself as into actually being that. So does that make sense? Absolute Flash number 8. Gotta catch up on this one. I still have to read number 7. But Garrod in this book is a cute little monkey. Very, very fun. Bloodletter, it's already up to issue number 5. As you saw, I read issue 1. So we've got some catching up to do there. Spawn 369 is out. This is I think it's a cool cover. Spawn's face, if you concentrate on that, if you can see it, he's got some issues going on. So McFarlane back to writing it, and Brett Booth on the interiors on that one. Amazing Spider-Man number 14. All right. The way this book is working is like the odd number issues are kind of in space with Spidey. I've been calling it Spidey and the Guardians. And the even number issues are on Earth with fake Spidey, see the red eyes, and fake Peter Parker. So this may be the last week I don't actually give you who they are, because it's been going on for a while now. But after an encounter with other Spidey folk, Norman Osborn is kind of torn, and then he really struggles with trying to be the Spider-Man, like trying to live up to what Peter said for Spider-Man. And I gave you a name there, so at least now you know who Spider-Man is, if you didn't know. But yeah, it's a really good book. It really gets into the guts of what tears at Norman Osborn and what he is, who he was, and what he wants to be. The Incredible Hulk, number 30. The Hulk fighting a possessed abomination in this one. Good book. You got to read this. I mean, the body horror is there, which is something they did in Immortal Hulk, or it was a big part of Immortal Hulk. But beyond that, it's like the mythos that's being developed in this comic, really good. All right, Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, issue 10. McCraith over here trying to save Azumi, who he's met in basically purgatory, and they've kind of fallen in love. This is it's called Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. So it's a big time love story with a samurai and a gunslinger, all the action you want, and a love story to boot. Pretty good. It'll be on hiatus though until 2026, so they kind of left us in a cliffhanger, and to me, not a very good cliffhanger. Oh well. And I don't know how many more issues they have. I mean, they said it's going to be part 1, and they're going to finish up part 1 in 2026. If it's on issue 10, if you're going 12 issues, I don't know. Anyway, and then you're planning to do another set. So, I don't know. They got plans, they got things happening, right? Events and so forth. Last issue we read this week, G.I. Joe number 12. New character Shooter. First full appearance, first cover appearance. I believe the last issue was first cameo. So this is a whole new team than what we've been working with in the G.I. Joe universe. So we're being introduced to Beachcomber, Shooter, Flint, and Lady J. All G.I. Joe characters that we have not seen up to this moment, and who the other G.I. Joe characters are not aware are out operating in the shadow right now. So basically this team was spying on the G.I. Joe team that's been going on right now, and then they're sent on a mission to save Shooter, who's been captured. All right, comic fans, those were the new comic book day polls, the new comic book All right, comic fans, that was the new comic book day haul and review. Those were my polls, plus the books I caught up on, plus 250 centers. So yeah, hopefully you liked it. If you did like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up and comment down below. I was gonna say throw me a thumbs up, but hit the thumbs up. Don't hit it too hard though. Don't want you cracking your screens, all right? So do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna get ready for next week's books. Peace, deuces, we're out. Ka-chink. All right, we got a pack here, pile here, whatever. What's up, comics?